Welcome back to another astonishing story from Olympics history. Yesterday, I shared a Romeo and Juliet story of two athletes from the United States and the former Soviet bloc who fell in love, bridging the Cold War gulf. Their story was unique, but the political drama that hung over it was not. At least 62 Olympic athletes and team members, and likely many, many more, have been confirmed using the Olympic Games as an opportunity to escape political repression. The first documented Olympic defection occurred at the 1948 Summer Olympics in London. Czechoslovakian women's gymnastics coach Marie Prasnikova had just guided her team to gold when she made a life-changing decision. Earlier that year, the Communist Party had seized control of Czechoslovakia, and the former Nazi resistance fighter wanted nothing of this new regime. At age 57, despite serving as president of the International Gymnastics Federation, she defected to the United States. There, she spent the rest of her life teaching physical education to schoolchildren. She lived long enough to witness the 1989 Velvet Revolution that ended 4 decades of communist rule in her homeland, dying in 1991 at age 100. After Prasnikova, a tradition was born. Just weeks after Soviet forces crushed a democratic uprising in Hungary, killing thousands, the 1956 Summer Olympics in Melbourne, Australia, began. After violent fights broke out between Hungarian and Russian players during a polo semifinal that came to be known as Blood in the Water, dozens of Hungarian athletes defected to the United States. Despite difficulties adapting to their lives in a new country, the Olympians said they never regretted their actions. Luge's first appearance in the Winter Olympics was at Innsbruck, Austria in 1965. Both the German men and women took gold, and while they celebrated long into the night after their win, East German Ute Galler slipped away from the festivities and ran for the border roughly 25 miles away. She made it to freedom, as did more than a dozen spectators from Eastern European communist countries. The waves of defections from Soviet bloc countries continued into the 1970s. In 1972 alone, at the Munich Games, more than 100 athletes are said to have defected. It got so bad that Soviet minders were sent to ensure athletes and coaches never stepped out of line. But that didn't stop 4 Romanians and 1 Russian at the 1976 Summer Olympics in Montreal, who sought asylum in Canada. Or Sergei Nemtsov, a 17-year-old Russian diver who vanished from the Olympic Village. Soviet Olympic officials claimed, quote, unidentified terrorists had kidnapped Sergei and brainwashed him to embrace freedom. Turns out Sergei didn't defect for political reasons. He'd fallen in love with an American girl he'd met at a meet in Florida. The relationship didn't work out, and he eventually returned home. At the 1996 Summer Olympics in Atlanta, not 1 but 2 flag bearers jumped ship. Afghan boxer Javed Aman Mohammed was accused of being a communist by officials back home because he trained in Russia. Afraid to go back, he sought and received asylum in Canada. Iraqi weightlifter Riyad Ahmed vocally opposed Saddam Hussein's rule and feared execution. He traded the Iraqi flag for the Stars and Stripes. Athlete defections from Cuba have been commonplace since the 1959 Cuban Revolution. During the 2004 Athens Games, the Cubans dominated boxing. 3 of the 5 medalists celebrated by defecting. During the 2012 Games in London, 7 members of the Cameroon delegation, 4 Congolese team members, 3 from Sudan, and 1 from Ethiopia went missing. It was later discovered they'd asked for asylum. The man who carried the flag for Eritrea joined 3 others from his team in defecting. The most recent Olympics defection occurred in 2021 at the Summer Games in Tokyo. Sprinter Kristina Simonovskaya told Japanese police that she was afraid of returning home to Belarus after she criticized her coaches on social media for entering her into events without her consent. After government minders attempted to force her to leave, the 24-year-old claimed asylum. She was given police protection and was later granted a humanitarian visa by Poland. She lives there still and even represented Poland at the 2024 Summer Games in Paris. These stories represent only a fraction of the total. Across decades, continents, and political systems, the Olympics have served not just as a stage for athletic excellence, but as an unlikely gateway to freedom. For some of the competitors, the greatest victory was never a medal, it was the chance to choose their own future. See you tomorrow for another amazing story from the Olympic Games. Stay curious, my friends.